Target locked. Ready to fire.
I was totally muted. Hey, welcome. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It's Wednesday, December 3rd. I'll be a strong 40 here soon. Strong 40. I'm going to stick with that one. I'm going to go with that. We're going to run that way. What's up? Welcome to everybody. We already got some gifted memberships dropped in the chat there. So shout out to Alexander G dropping 5, and then we dropped some more here at Piper Academy also. But guys, we got to talk about Michael Saylor today. Is he going to have to sell some Bitcoin? I know he said, I will never sell my Bitcoin, but he may have to per his own bylaws. So we'll take a look at what that looks like and how that would play out, why he would have to do that, all that good stuff. And then also we're going to talk about the Japanese carry trade part 2 coming possibly. A lot of stuff going on in the Japan market right now. ADP jobs dropped today. We're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart and get through a whole lot of news. So I hope you guys are ready for it. Guys, go ahead. Take your seats. Class is in session. You know what time it is. Alexander G, you got your Trapper Keeper out. There you go. They are buying me trading nerd friends. That's what we're doing. We're trying to get you some more people. So if you guys just got gifted any of those 10 memberships, you are now, you have full access to our Discord. That's how that works. So I got a special gift for you guys today, though. OC guy. What's up, dude? Welcome back. You're muted. Don't mess around.
I wasn't. I just need to bring that up. The classic muted OC, man. I'm just so happy to be back. I so miss it. Do you have a flag? I love it. I love to be here.
Do you have a flag?
I love to be with you guys. And I don't know. It's been what a week. It's been a week. But yeah, I mean, I finally got a little chance to come over here and start looking at the charts. I mean, I haven't looked at the charts, and let me tell you that, I mean, I even have looked at my bluffing account. But at this point, let me tell you that I'm pretty surprised. I think we left with a long position on Bitcoin and then a possible short. The short it is right now basically on 0, and the long it is.
You want to show your chart?
Yeah, sure. Let's go for it.
I mean, they've had no OC. They're going through OC withdrawals. So here you go. Let's get you some OC TA here.
Let's go. So this is exactly where we left out the charts, right? So we had this little well, finally a bounce. We're looking at this trend line. We have the trend line and we were looking for the bounce, right? But also, let's take a look at here. We knew that we have some big resistances. So this is where we left out. Remember, we were looking for a short in here, all right? And then we were looking for a long in here. Remember that I tried to always like aim just a little bit above, and look at that. As you can see, I did auto enter here. So my short, it's basically on 0, a little bit underwater, but my long, it is making some money. So we'll see how those played out. I mean, I might consider just closing the short unless I see something else, because remember, this is going to be my first analysis, like blind analysis from Bitcoin since 2 weeks ago. But I'm pretty happy to see Bitcoin doing this. And I mean, we have possibly and most possibly a double bottom, but look at what is coming up in here. We got a big trend line. So I'm not celebrating just yet, because we could be into a rising wedge or even into a rising triangle, and those tend to break to the downside. So we'll see how that played out. We'll see the rest of the analysis in a bit, but I'm pretty happy to see things actually green on my broker. But yeah, doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, we're continuing the DCA plan. I don't know if you've been checking the DCA at all this week, but you've been buried in support over there, customer support at Chart Prime. So we're glad to have you back, man. Yeah. Anything that you've been doing, on the side since, or have you just been working like 20-hour days over there at Chart Prime?
I actually go out at lunch. I wake up at 8 a.m. straight to do some typing, and then at somewhere around 10 p.m. I take my first lunch, and then I come back at midnight and stay up to 2 a.m. and rinse and repeat.
There you go.
Rinse
There
and
you go.
repeat.
Too much work, man. They're working you too hard over there. No, we appreciate everything you guys over at Chart Prime do, man. Thank you guys for sponsoring our channel here, of course, and always happy to have you back in the saddle with us again. Let's go ahead and jump into the news, get into that, and then I want to come back and talk about a couple of things. We got some X marks the spot, and of course the Michael Saylor thing. The whole theme of today's thumbnail. Shout out to Ahachi though. Oh, actually, no. You know what, OC? We got chat. Let's go say hey to the chat. We got a Hachi in here. That's Tobias from over there at Chart Prime. French Toasters in the house. Alexander G, the mod queen. We got JR, our trader extraordinaire, in our Discord. So if you guys are new members that just joined, make sure you connect your Discord to your YouTube and you have full access to everything in there, to include the Piper plan. Who else we got in here? We got Jesse Gallick in the house, dropping the OC guy emojis in there. We have Ben Redden. What's up, man? 8 breath saying good morning, OC. DJ Mac Ali, I appreciate you being here. Who else we got? Who we got? Yeah, Loco for Crypto. Mike Play is in here with us. Rug Pulling Rabbit. Love that name. That's a great name. The Biomex, Tex-Mex Biomex, Bud1212. Some of our members that picked up some stuff. Some of these I don't even recognize the names, but it is what it is. CJ Taylor, that's my brother, my real brother, in here with us right now. Appreciate you being here, Clyde. And I think that's pretty much all of them. I don't think I missed him. Oh, Mike Vollmer. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Much love to everybody that's joining us here. Appreciate you guys being here. Melissa One Love, I see you. You know what it is, saying good morning. You know what it is, was waiting yesterday. And he's like, do we have a live session today in our Discord, which it's BC's Tuesday TradFi thing that he does. And he's busy also, OC. He hasn't done any shows either for the past week because he's doing snowplow. He operates a snow truck for off season, right, of construction. So he's doing that. So it's been a solo Army Piper channel here for like a week now. It's okay though. We have broken 8,000 subscribers, if you don't know. So we're building up there. If you guys haven't subscribed yet and you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button, get notifications, hit the notification bell, get notified every time we go live. And if you haven't done so yet, please smash up the likes.
Those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
It helps us out a lot. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into the news, OC, and we'll come back and take a look at some alts, because they haven't gotten many alts from me. It is what it is. So it is what it is. Let's go take a look at the news here, though, guys. Looking at the metrics of into the Crytoverse today, we are currently right now sitting at $3.14 trillion on the market cap. We are back above $3 trillion. We were below it yesterday. Now we're back. Started at the bottom. Now we here at a trend line of $4.759 trillion, currently undervalued about 34%. This was sitting about 37. So we are seeing a little bit of closing of that gap there. Current risk level on Bitcoin sitting at 43%, meaning it's a 3x DCA. Of course, all them alts are sitting much lower than that. Bitcoin dominance right now, looking at with stable coins, 59.01%, without stable coins sitting at about 65.24%. Let's go take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. Fear and Greed right now sitting at 28. We are in fear. Yesterday, we were at 23. Last week, we were at 15, guys. And last month, we were in fear still at 42, just under that neutral line. This is the stuff that we're going to talk about today, about the MSCI. We talked about this last week and what this means for them considering removing MicroStrategies. Of course, that's going to have an impact. We'll talk about that. And a lot of this stuff here to do with Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. But then also we got job data today. ADP private payrolls came in, falling by 32,000 jobs. We have an article to talk about on that. And then this Japanese market stuff, guys. So we got a lot of stuff all coming in here, fed into us by the X marks the spot, but we got a lot of breakdown on this stuff to go into. So just stand by for that. Not going to want to miss it. Looking at the liquidations in the past 24 hours, 125,100 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $467 million. Largest single liquidation order was on Hyperliquid as a Bitcoin trade for 11.12 million. I know it was an OC because he just looked at his chart about 15 minutes ago. So he's obviously not trading. Looking at the crypto bubbles here, a lot of green on the hourly. Bitcoin currently up on the day right now about 3%. Ethereum's up 5.7%. They have an upgrade coming. I can't remember the name of it offhand. I'm sure someone here knows. But is it official with the new Fed chair? No, we don't get him. I'll address that in a second. I know someone in here knows what the upgrade is that's coming for Ethereum, but it's right around the corner. Ben Redden said, is it official with the new Fed chair? No, tis not. Tis not. There you go. I'm bringing it up there. It's likely going to be Bassett, most likely, but it's not official yet. It was hinted that it might be him, but that wouldn't take place until May, Ben Redden. You're talking like 6 months from now. So yeah, that's we will get a new Fed chairman in 6 months, I promise, but it's not official on who it is as of yet. So looking here at other big movers on the markets, guys, Solana, it's moved up 1 spot to number 6 here, taking USDC out of the spot there, and it's up 5.5% today. Cardano's up 5.3% today at 43 cents. Bitcoin Cash up 9.8%. Chainlink up 11.7, $14.38. Very far off from $800. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. I know you guys are going to. Where's Litecoin? Litecoin is sitting at number 18, up 4.8% today. SWI moving up number 3 spots to number 19 on the total market cap here. It is now up 13.2% as of the time of this print on the daily. HBAR up 3.8%, and rounding out that top 20 is Hedera there, HBAR. Avalanche sitting just below now, moved down to 21. It is up 6% today. So holy crap. Shiba Inu's up 7.1% today, OC. How did Shiba Inu get back in this mix close to that 20 mark? Are we going to have a Shiba Inu run at the end of this cycle? I don't know. Looking at the U.S. market right now, Dow Jones, S&P, NASDAQ. Dow Jones is up about a little over 0.25% right now. The S&P is pretty flat, 0.06, and the NASDAQ down about 0.3%. Oddly enough, Russell 2K up about 0.5% right now, and that's pretty interesting to see when you consider that this usually will align with movement of risk, right? And so if they're more risky to take on low cap stocks, that usually means that we see some action there coming in off of crypto. And that's what we're seeing today. Looks like we're getting a little bit of news right now. ISM, non-manufacturing data. Let's hear what he's saying here.
Sequentially higher than our last look at 52.4, and it's the best number since Feb of this year. And if you look at prices paid, and we'd rather have this go down, well, it is less than expectations. We're looking for 68 plus, comes in at 65.4, much lower than 70 in the rearview mirror. That's the lightest on prices paid since April of this year. New orders, 52.9.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll take a look at the economic calendar. He's pretty low on volume there, but looks like we got some ISM manufacturing data. Let's jump over into that first. That just came in. Let's refresh this. There we go. ISM services PMI 52.6 was expected to be 52.1, 52.3. Previously it was 52.4. ISM services coming in better than expected and beating its previous report. The ISM services PMI for the U.S. edged up to 52.6 in November 2025 from the 52.4 reported in October, pointing to the strongest growth in the service sector in 9 months and above the forecast of 52.1. This continued expansion in both business activity and new orders and the highest backlog of orders since February are positive signs for an emerging recovery of the service sector. On the downside, tariffs and the government shutdown continue to be noted by companies as impacting both demand and cost. Employment remained in contraction, though, so we're still seeing a weakening of the job numbers. We saw that also with ADP today, which means we're very likely almost guaranteed we're getting a rate cut, probably 25 basis points. Employment remained in contraction, while the highest supplier deliveries figure since October 2024 indicates slower deliveries by supplier, likely due to air traffic disruptions that we had during the government shutdown and customs impacts related to changing tariffs. So still some headwind there on it, but ISM services showing some strength in the economy sector. while job numbers were horrible. What are those job numbers? ADP employment change was at 47. This actually was a revision from 42. So they raised it by 5 on the previous month. And then they said, hey, it might be about 10,000 to 15,000. Came in negative 32,000 on the jobs numbers there, guys. And we just saw in the ISM services also showing weakness in the job market too. So that's what we're looking at there. We did get a 30-year mortgage rate. I thought this might actually be a little higher. Came in at 6.32. So we're actually seeing this come down about 0.8. I thought it was going to go up about 0.8. 6.47 is what I thought it would be at. Actually coming down to 6.32. So 0.08 to the downside instead of 0.7 to the upside. What are we going to be getting tomorrow, Thursday? Initial jobless claims supposed to be coming in. This is your weekly unemployment. Might see a surprise on these numbers. And it's higher than that for the week because we are seeing a lot of layoffs right now at the holiday season. Isn't that nice of those companies? And then Friday, of course, we're going to get September PCE, Michigan consumer sentiment for December, and then a bunch more old data from 2 months ago in September that they're still trying to catch up. All that coming in on Friday. Of course, we'll break it all down here. Let's take a look at what it's saying here on this ADP jobs report right now, guys. November private payrolls unexpectedly fell by 32,000 jobs, led by a steep small business job cuts. ADP reports. So a lot of small businesses, which we talked earlier this week about the amount of bankruptcies coming from small businesses, which has been astronomical in 2025. Now we're also seeing here that the small sector, the small business sector also laying off a lot of people. So the U.S. labor market slowdown intensified in November as private companies cut 32,000 workers, with small businesses hit the hardest. Payrolls processing firm ADP reported, with worries intensifying over the domestic job picture, ADP indicated the issues were worse than anticipated, and the payroll decline marked a sharp step down from October, which saw an upwardly revised target to 47,000 from that 42,000. So like we said, we're up by 5,000 on a revision, but then we get a big drop in the job numbers this month. The biggest loss came in professional and business services, which saw a decline of 26,000. Other shedding jobs included information services, minus 20,000 jobs, manufacturing, minus 18, and then financial services, construction, both which saw losses of around 9,000 jobs there. So cross up pretty much all the sectors there, guys. How are we looking? Flashbang, sorry. How are we looking for a rate cut in December? Next week, we're going to be getting this FOMC rate decision. Well, right now, we're looking at about an 89% chance that we do get a 25 basis point rate cut, 11% chance of a pause. I think you're going to see this over this week and into next week drop even more. We are seeing some strength in the sector for economy pillars, manufacturing, services, so on and so forth. But we're seeing a lot of jobs cut, and that leads us to go, hey, very likely have to cut rates, which is not a good sign, actually. I think that cutting rates in December is going to send a message that we are in an economic red flag zone and that we need to react to the markets instead of being ahead of it. So, yeah, job cut is coming. I think the markets may actually realize eventually, though, that this is because there's problems on the horizon, and that's why they're doing it, which is not a good thing for sentiment and our risk sentiment for the market. So speculation, that's what I'm looking for. Look at the return history. Bitcoin, guess what? Finally sitting in the green for a month. Look at that. We're up 2.36% right now for the month of December. Of course, we're still looking at a quarterly red quarter with 18.85% downside. So we would need to see Bitcoin in December absolutely just rally and rush to have a fourth quarter close that is in the green. Right now, though, watching it 2.36% is not going to get us there anytime soon. I need to get my ticker. If you guys don't know, the ticker that sits below me here, it is real time. So if you guys see all those, look, CASPA's red. CASPA's red all the way there. Oh, there you go. CASPA's red. Everything else is green. What else we got here? Bitcoin rebound. Let's talk about this. Bitcoin rebounds after drawdown reaches 20%. Is the crypto winter over? And actually, we're going to stretch this over because I want OC to talk about this with me. Let me bring this in here. Come on, sir. Come on, sir. There we go. All right, OC, come on up here. Let's talk about this. Bitcoin rebounds after a drawdown reaches 20%. Is the crypto winter over, or is it just starting? And this is where OC and we have a lot of back and forth on this topic. Again, I still want this Bitcoin bookshelf in my house. Everyone's using this. I want it in my house. I want a picture of Piper standing next to that. Bitcoin retraced some of its losses on Tuesday, just one day after a steep drawdown, I should say. But the token could plunge even deeper into the red if the crypto winter sets in. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization was last trading at 91,765, up 7.4% on the day. Actually, right now, it's up even more than that. It's in that $93,000 range, I believe, right now. But Bitcoin briefly dipped below the critical $85,000 point level at its lowest point. Yeah, it's at 92.2. There you go. I guess it's pulling back still. I am in a short still that I put in the Discord last night from 93,000, guys. So that trade that I did last night that I set up at 93K, I did short it there. So I am in that short right now currently. Asset recent price action suggests that crypto bull run has turned bearish, according to analysts. A bear market, however, won't likely run its course until Bitcoin sees an 80% drawdown. We talked about those levels, 78.6%. We've always hit it. Will we do it again this cycle? We'll look and see. We'll look at the chart and see what those levels look like in a while. But crypto winters are much longer than a few weeks. And if this proves to be one, it's just the beginning, Rada told CNBC. Bitcoin could fall a lot more. Bitcoin shed about 75% to 80% of its value in 2018 and 2022, he noted. So where are we right now in the cycle? Bitcoin's latest drawdown mirrors mid-cycle pullbacks of previous cycles. I don't agree with that. I think mid-cycle pullbacks come down to find support on the 52-week SMA, not break the 52-week SMA. So Ryan Lee, CEO of Surf, I challenge you on that data point there. A data firm that uses artificial intelligence. I use Piper Intelligence to track down digital asset market moves. Bitcoin's recent drawdown aligns closely with the mid-cycle correction seen in 2013, 2017, and 2021. OC, can you pull those up on your chart and be getting those ready? We're the mid-cycle corrections of each cycle, the 2013, 2017, 2021, which would be May 2021 when we had that 50% pullback and all that. Let's look at the difference of those previous cycle pullbacks compared to this one today. The rebound, the depth of the move, and the on-chain structure support view that this is a consolidation period rather than a start of a prolonged downturn. The conditions for a true bear market haven't appeared yet, adding that Bitcoin's traditional four-year cycle could be changing due to the influx of institutional capital over the past year. I challenge that also. I think what we've seen over the past year is institutional doorways for retail to get in different ways. So it's just increased the amount of retail, which just adds more emotional buyers into the mix. I don't think that we've seen an institutional influx change happen. We've even seen that the institutions, the true institutions, Marathon, so on and so forth, they've even sold their Bitcoin recently. So I challenge that statement there also. With institutional participation growing, market cycles are lengthening beyond the traditional four-year pattern and increasingly resemble 5 to 6 year expansions. Show me the proof. That's what pictures are, it didn't happen. Regardless of where we are in the market cycle, Bitcoin's fundamentals continue to look strong. I don't disagree with that. Fundamentally, it does look strong. Director of Bitcoin Strategy and Research from Orange BTC told CNBC, this decline comes even as Bitcoin's fundamentals continue to strengthen. We're seeing a rising institutional and sovereign adoption, greater regulatory clarity, and a network that has never been stronger. When prices and fundamentals diverge to this degree, it has often been a favorable time to begin or add to a long position. OC, your thoughts on this, and then I'd like to see what you're seeing on the charts there, because I will agree that fundamentally Bitcoin is strong. However, we don't see a break in fundamentals of what Bitcoin is every cycle crypto winter anyways. I would say if we have anything that's going on, it would be that we have over leveraged, which is typically what happens that brings us down. We have a lot of people offering themselves up to be sacrificed as exit liquidity, which we have at the tops every time. And I would say that what we're getting ready to talk here in a little while about Michael Saylor and the Japan stuff, that's giving the catalyst for us to officially go, all right, crypto winter, here we go, yellow, hold my beer, right? But I would like to know, am I just really far off of what this guy is saying? because I don't think he's hitting the nail on the head at all. What do you got on the charts? Let's talk about those mid-cycle pullbacks and why right now looks so different. And I'll bring my chart up too if I need to support. But what do you got for it? Muted.
Oh, this wasn't on purpose, I promise. But I just finishing dropping a couple of lines in here, just to locate the peaks, and based on the peaks, we can locate the valleys right here, and then based on the valleys, the midway upwards, right? So I would say that maybe, and just maybe, and again, I'm not trying to shield him or anything, maybe it does look like a mid-term rally pullback. Not quite, because if you take a look at here, every single time it's being parabolic, right? It's being parabolic, and at this point, this is not at all parabolic. This is just into a trend line, right? So it's been way flatter. I mean, yes, of course, we can drop some trend lines in here and say, well, I mean, maybe he's talking about being here, but look at the losses that we had, so on and so forth. So I would say, all right.
Well, I think that
just
I think that 2021 pullback that he's talking about is the dip between the peak and then our all-time high, that which I consider it to be a over-exaggerated dead cat bounce. So the dip at the top, yep, right there, that bad boy, that's what I think he's referring to as mid-cycle, which really was late cycle. But yeah, what your thoughts on that?
Oh, well, this actually changes things, because we're not talking about this kind of movement, but we're talking about, and I would actually call it the end of the cycle, right? I mean, either a double top or an over-exaggerated dead cat bounce. This is the end of the cycle, or at the end of the cycle, right? So if we're talking about this, I would say that, yeah, maybe, and I still have just a little bit of hope right there in the corner, the dusty corner of my heart. But again, I'm not moving my wallet based on that hopium. What I want to say is that, yeah, I still expect, based on a hopium, that we get the same kind of like bounce, maybe something like in here, right? Something like that does like this, maybe a retest on the trend line, and then a going back down. Something interesting here is that this is parabolic, and let me show you how this support line becomes a resistance, and let's take a look at how this projection turns around. Because if I turn off parabolic, I mean, not parabolic, logarithmic, right? Our previous support line becomes a resistance, and look at that. We maybe could be looking at a double top. How is this backed up? It is not. It is just something like, hey, breakout, retest. That's what I would like to see. But it's also truth that in some breakouts, well, we don't have that prolonged retest, right? Maybe our retest is going to be just all the way to 100K back, and then a continuation lower. Talking about the altcoin season, I think we should be looking right now at one micro altcoin season, and that is because Bitcoin is doing nothing and everything else it is actually pumping, right? As well as green. I don't think that we're gonna hit all-time highs of everything at all, like at all. But if we're gonna be seeing some influx of money, I think people are losing interest on Bitcoin and moving their funds to something that gives them more volatility or more rush on the trading. But yeah, that's what I say. I don't know if I missed any part of your questions.
No, I think you nailed it. There's some other things that I want to point out here that on looking at mid cycles. The thing that I think he's missing, and it's a very critical piece to understand. Typically, when we get pullbacks, and these are some of these are substantial pullbacks here, guys. Let me throw on the magnet tool, and we'll just look at a couple of these. We have pullback here. Excuse me. About 33% pullback, right? And that's what he's saying, is that this is a typical pullback for cycle. Let's take a look here from this pullback down to the bottom. That was about a 35% pullback, okay? Pullback here, mid-cycle. I mean, there's a lot of these that happen, 40% pullback, right? In line with what we're seeing. Matter of fact, if you even take a look here, we had a pullback, okay? And it pulled down to the support band, 53% pullback there at the top there back in 2018. Okay. let's take a look at this bounce here. This bounce came up, gave us another 30% rally, but all it did was come back to reject on the bull market support bands, right? Then we come down 52-week bounce back into the support band, and we're in this process of making the lower lows. I don't think until we, we'll look at this next cycle, but I want to show you how this compares to what we saw in that cycle, okay? Here, if he's talking about this pullback, this was a 50% pullback. But we came back, 55% actually. We came back to the 52-week simple moving average. And then we got a bounce. There's support on the bull market support band. Break back in. There's our top structure of the golden pockets that we broke it back here, but typically in every cycle, that's where we go to, okay? Now, what I want to point out that makes this cycle a bit different than what he's talking about here on these pullbacks of, look, here's another one, mid-cycle pullback. That was a 21%. Hot support on the bull market support band. This pullback he's talking about hasn't pulled back to our 52-week like we did here or here. It hasn't pulled back to our bull market support band like we did here or here, right? It's pulled back and broken both of those ranges, lost our golden pocket top. And if anything, I would say that we're still heading down to $77,200. That would be the test there on the dynamic reactor there, okay? We did get a reversal. What I'm watching for to happen here would be a pump up to the 52-week and that bottom 618, about 103, somewhere in that ballpark. Of course, the bull market support band's pulling into that range very quickly. The dynamic reactor is pulling into that range very quickly on the daily one there. I think that we could easily be looking here at it rejecting off of that daily dynamic reactor, daily bull market support band, daily our 52-week simple moving average. And at that point, we come down and then we have to test here and go, okay, we got to bounce. That's a lower high. Are we now setting up the same structures that we've seen previously where it's lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Same as back here, like we talked about, lower high, lower high, lower high. There's a bounce up. Oh yeah, bottom's in, cool. Let's go out there and hit that. Nope, now it comes down. I think until we get to that point in this cycle that he's talking out his fart hole, in my opinion. Why? Because if we get a bounce here and we reject off of this level right above the 52, right above the weekly dynamic reactor, then we're looking a lot like we saw back here. Okay. And that is we came down, lost all of this stuff, lost the 52-week, came down, didn't quite make it to the 52-week or to the weekly dynamic reactor, bounced up, rejected off of the 52-week simple moving average, and that gave us our downward motion into the crypto winter. So I think until we change that here, until we break above that 52-week SMA and then get a bounce up on an OC retest off of it, then we are in fact right now heading into the crypto winter. I think until we break that range there, which is about 102, we have to consider that his is hopium and this is data-based based on historical trends and what we're likely to see happen again, because it don't always rhyme. It doesn't always repeat, but it often rhymes, right? So that's what I'm watching there. That 102 level going to be critical for us to break through, for me to buy into the extended cycle. Right now, everything looks like it typically does and going into crypto winners. So what catalyst could there be that would make this all happen and play out, guys? It's going to be this data back here. Let's go back to X marks the spot and let's talk about some of this stuff. It's going to be this Michael Saylor stuff is one factor. Okay. If you guys don't know, we do have the MicroStrategy right now is being looked at by the MSCI. And I got some notes here that I'll talk about real fast on each of these thumbnails, but we'll talk about what that all means. So the MSCI launched a consultation on whether Bitcoin treasury companies should stay in its equity indices or be reclassified like funds and kicked out of them. If they reclassify MicroStrategy's MSTR as a fund, it could be removed from MSCI USA and MSCI World, forcing index funds and ETFs that track those benchmarks to sell billions of dollars of MicroStrategy. the ETS would be like, we can't have you in here anymore. We have to sell them off, right? Estimates of potential forced selling range from about $2.5 billion to $8.8 billion worth of MicroStrategy stock being sold off by MSCI and other index families. Saylor has confirmed they're actively in discussion to fight that. And that's what this came out 2 hours ago, that look, we're talking to them, right? So the baseline on this, MSCI is basically saying, we might not treat you as a normal operating company anymore. You look like a Bitcoin fund. And then if the MSCI follows through with this, this would happen in January. Mid-January is when the date comes out on this. Mid-February is when it would take effect. Now, you're going, okay, how does that equate to Bitcoin? Well, Strategy has already said that they would have to sell Bitcoin. He said that we might sell Bitcoin if our stock falls below its Bitcoin value. We would do that because it's the best interest for our shareholders, okay? So on that recent interview call, CEO Fong Li echoed in headlines as Saylor's company said that they would sell some of Bitcoin if MicroStrategy's market cap falls below its value of its Bitcoin holdings, right? And if the equity trades at a discount to MNAV. So, quote paraphrased, if the stock is below Bitcoin value, selling Bitcoin to support shareholder value would be in the best interest of shareholders. This would be a trigger condition for Bitcoin here, honestly. The big narrative shifts from never selling to only buying to I sell when I have to. And here's the big problem set. MicroStrategy's market cap, because remember, we just said that if they would sell Bitcoin if MicroStrategy's market cap dropped below its Bitcoin value. MicroStrategy's market cap is now worth $10 billion less than their Bitcoin holdings. So we're already meeting some of these conditions that would trigger them to have to sell Bitcoin. And if they by chance do lose their MSCI status and have to get big sell-offs on MicroStrategy, it's going to lower the value of MicroStrategy even lower than its Bitcoin valuation, which means increased likelihood of them selling Bitcoin. So I think this is a big catalyst that is not in the works right now for what we're seeing on the call of this is a 5 or 6 year cycle. I think this could be a catalyst, OC, that really sets us into a hard dump on MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, which would just scare the market to death because, oh my Lord, Michael Saylor is selling. This means something, right? Because a lot of people aren't going to be looking at why he's selling. They're just going to see that he's selling. So your thoughts on this? Is this the catalyst that says over the edge, go?
Well, I mean, hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not, because when we start seeing him selling, I think that's going to bring up some panic into the markets, both for people not seeing this and also not understanding what he's trying to do. And also it kind of like breaks my heart a little, exactly what you mentioned, that change of narrative, right? Like, we're never going to sell. We're never going to sell, right? Well, maybe because it's in the best interest of holders. Isn't that was just buying and never selling? Or buying and then taking some profits, right? What is it changing? Well, I think that what is changing is the size of it and the lack of growth on where the purchases were made. But still, I mean, we'll see how that plays out. But definitely, it's not going to be a cool day when if Michael Saylor have today to sell.
Yeah, Darren Does Things brings up another good point here. He said, or take a loan on some Bitcoin and buy back, but he's already operating on a bunch of loan money. Let's be honest. His convertibles are zero interest loans to buy Bitcoin. So, and he's pretty much leveraged out. I've showed a chart before, DDT, on how leveraged his Bitcoin is. I don't know that he has much more to take loans out against it, and his game plan for how he has to balance it. It's a multi-engine thing. You've seen that spaceship looking thing. But yeah, I mean, that might be a possibility, but I don't think it's going to be enough to, I don't think it's going to be enough to actually hit the levels that's going to bring it back up. At the end of the day, I think the one thing that might be a saving grace is if Michael Saylor sells his Bitcoin, he's not going to Coinbase and selling his Bitcoin. He's going OTC. So I think it would be the idea that he's selling that would be the catalyst, not his selling that would be a price action catalyst. So there is that. Let's go ahead and take a look here at some other stuff that I want you guys to be aware of. This is the Japanese carry trade. I want to jump over here. We'll talk about this, and then we'll let OC run with some altcoins. But the era of free money in Japan is officially over, guys. What does this mean for the markets? 9 years ago, Japan's 30-year government bond yield hit a record low of about 0.02, now at a record high of 3.43%. That is a 17,050% increase. This did not happen overnight. It's a product of years of deficit spending, unfavorable shifts in population demographics, and a failed central bank policy. Japan is now set to raise rates while handing out $135 billion in stimulus. Two completely contradictory moves. Stimulus won't save Japan. The country needs complete restructuring. And what he's referring to is this article here, or this post here, breaking Japan's 30-year government bond yield surges to a record 3.43% as the Bank of Japan is now considering raising interest rates. This comes just days after Japan finalized a $135 billion stimulus package. Japan is printing stimulus, yet raising rates. Something is broken. And so I got a full breakdown here. We'll talk about it. But basically, it's Japan's 30-year yield just hit that record 3.4%. What does this mean? Fiscal pedal to the metal. It's a monetary foot finally moving toward the break. That something is broken vibe is in the post is just what is exactly happening. Japan is finally exiting the fantasy land of free money, which means if you guys don't know, a lot of people have taken money, free money from Japan, and have been investing it in markets. That was the carry trade that we saw unwind the part one back in 2024. Okay, so now with this free money era ending, it could lead us to a point where people start to have to sell and get out and then buy their Japanese bonds for a better yield, because they're going to have to start paying more on their free money. It's no longer free, right? So why are yields exploding, and why are they talking hikes while doing stimulus? Really, it's more about monetary sliding and more bonds hitting the markets from the stimulus. Leads to investors' demand for higher yields. Bank of Japan backing away as a big buyer and starting to tighten also leads to less price support for those Japanese bonds. Result, sell Japan trade, dump long bonds, demand higher term premium, and that pushes the 30-year through the 3.4% even more. So how could this hit global markets? The yen and carry trade, that's the big one. For years, Japan was the global funding ATM, borrow cheap yen, buy higher yield assets like U.S. stocks, credit, crypto, you name it. If Bank of Japan hikes and the Japan yield rises, yet funding stops being free and the yen can strengthen, that would mean that the carry trade unwinding risk comes back to the table. Okay, does Alex O crypto in here? What's up, Alex O? He's alive. Yes, OC is alive. Appreciate you being here, Alex O. So yeah, guys, there's a whole nother sector here now where we could be looking, on top of this whole catalyst with MicroStrategy in mid-January, we could be looking at Japanese carry trade part 2 unwinding also. I think there's some big factors going on right now between MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor likely having to sell some Bitcoin here in January if the MSTR leans that way. And then this Japanese carry trade, a lot of people are going to have to sell off their stocks and cryptos because the money that they were using was very expensive, especially if they have are already underwater on some of their crypto. For example, Bitcoin right now is down for the year, right? So if they were using this cheap money and they're like, okay, well, it's free money from Japan, I can wait until Bitcoin bounces, and they think that it's not going to bounce, could really see a vacuum out of the stock and the crypto side. So your thoughts on this, OC? Japanese carry trade part 2, is it coming soon to a Bitcoin price action near you? Your thoughts? Andrew muted. Always muted.
Again, always muted. I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen because there's no limit to human greediness. I mean, we've seen that over and over and over. Human is the only one that falls 2 times, 3 times, 4 times into the same hole. And I think it's gonna happen. Maybe not right away, but if they keep, you know, like you mentioned, giving free money on top of what it used to be free money, it's just gonna inflate the bubble and create it all over again. Because at the end of it all, it needs to have a breaking point. So unless we see just a different behavior of investors, who's actually borrowing money and then injecting into the markets, I don't think that we're gonna have any other result. I mean, it's the same ecosystem, are the same rules, it's the same everything, and we're seeing the same reaction. So I don't know, making the same experiment twice and thinking to have a different outcome, that's, I don't know, I would say, I don't too much of a possibility, right? If we see a different behavior of investments or Bank of Japan, I think we might skip it, but I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I definitely think it's some things to keep an eye on. Keep your finger on the pulse. We're still dollar cost averaging, obviously, and we do hope that the Bitcoin price does go back up. But Baba Yaz leading in with a question that's exactly in line with what my thought is until this happens. He said, I don't like this one, but any hopium, and I will drive more retail, any hopium that will drive more retail in over the next month or two, or are we just going to hit the 52-week average and reject it? I think that's what you really need to be watching, Bobby Yaz. If we hit that 52-week and we reject there, brother, we are doing a mirror setup that we've seen every single cycle. If we can get above that, break it, retest it, OC retest on that bad boy, then we could be looking at higher. But don't forget, we got two major storms coming in January, MSTI decision on MicroStrategy and this Bank of Japan possible part 2 of the Japanese carry trade unwinding. That could be major catalysts that just make it impossible to even get to that 52-week, if not make it a very strong rejection that confirms we are in crypto winners. So no one knows for sure at all. I can challenge people's assessments, analysis, but people can challenge mine. I welcome it. But as of right now, we have to look at this one with unbiased, a lack of bias. And my bias right now that I am aware of is that Bitcoin always goes up, right? But we can't deny that it does have 70% pullback. I want to show you guys those levels that we were talking about for that 70%, the 80%, the 90%, all that good stuff. Let's jump back over here. This is what I'm talking about. If we look at and OC, you're going to love this one. If we look at the cycle pullbacks, right? We have at least always gone back to the 78.6, if not lower, sometimes close to the 80%. You look back here, we are hit down there like 80% pullback. There's the 88.7%. This is being pulled from tops to bottom, or bottoms to tops, and then a retracement back down, right? If this cycle sees a 50% pullback, we're looking at $70,500. If we see a 61.8%, which is a golden pocket, we're still looking 0.66 to 0.618 being 53,000 to about 57.5. If we see our typical pullback, guys, guess what? It's $40,000 Bitcoin. And so, yeah, I think any major catalyst could send us down there. And as of right now, until we get back above this 52-week, that would be targets that I would be keeping an eye on. Your 70,000, your 52,000, your $39,000 Bitcoin there on the markets. But I do have something to show you, OC. We typically pull down to this 78.6, right? And every cycle, if you measure, we always go in and hit that golden pocket top, right? If not break it. Look at our next cycle extension. If this top is in, if this is the top, and we do our typical retracement down to the 786, check this out. Let's bring this in. Take a look. 786. That's where this top to bottom is being pulled for the retracement. You're looking at $350,000 to $411,000 Bitcoin in the 2029 cycle. So take it for what it's worth. I'm continuing the DCA. Piper plan. If you're a new member that just got a membership today gifted to you, or if you joined recently, make sure you connect your YouTube account to the Discord so you can get access to the Piper plan, because we drop a weekly dynamic. It's not the same amount every week. You can't get in there once and go, oh, it's this much every week. No, can't do that. There's a PDF in there that explains dynamic dollar cost averaging. And so it's going to help you out there. We are going down. Don't be fooled. Acts 2:21. I am in agreement with you. I do think we're going down until somebody can show me differently. OC, how are we looking on altcoins? Because the alumni have missed OC spaghetti. They have waited a long time for you to start cooking. So I'm going to let you cook. Go cook, sir.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the first thing that is just popping out right now as we speak. Why not? Let's take a look at 00 here. We can trade everywhere, so why not? Let's take a look at 00. We also want to take a look at Link, ENA, and why not Shiba Inu. So let's go get them. Let me just change in here to something like the, what is it, 4 hours, and let's get it. So let's start it with 00. Perfect. Let's go for, I would say, Binance. We don't have Binance. All sources, all exchanges. Well, Coinbase, I think that'll make it. All right, perfect. So right here, zooming back out, let's do always this with this kind of coins, all right? Zooming back out, we see that it's a pretty new coin, or at least we don't have much on this broker at this point. So let's go and do some trade lines, right? Like Alex would say, nothing beats a good trend line. So right here, I'm trying to grab this high, and maybe going over those two little ones like this, trying to compensate this, kind of like a fake out. We are having a breakout. Perfect. That is good. So the next thing that we're looking for, it is some sort of resistance. Let me bring everything in. It needs to reload, of course, because I haven't opened that for a little while. Look at that. As I was expecting, we are on a resistance point at this moment. That's why we're having that big week. So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. Let's see if we can hold that zone. And I don't think so far. I mean, so far it seems like we are going to be dropping below dynamic reactor, because what we could have in there, and we also have a bright true 7 in here, so right there, which means a little bit of a pullback for then a continuation upward. So maybe we could be looking for a pullback somewhere around the 0.11, and then looking for the next movement to the upside, maybe, and just maybe, breaking through and having the areas of taking profit and having the next taking profit zone somewhere around here. Be careful, because we are not in good market conditions, but this can still run. I mean, it had run, right? It had run, and we could go back in time as little as we can and see that it is very, very, very volatile. Let's go and take a look at Shiba. Why not? Shiba Inu. We do have an ongoing analysis on Shiba. Let's bring it up and let's wait for our setup to play it out to load. There it is. I know it's a little bit too much. Let me just start turning things off in here for a second. Here it is. Let's get started with the bare minimum, which is no indicators, maybe some color. So right here, what I can see is that we had a trend line, of course, that was broken. And then we are ranging flat pause of bearish continuation. This is the flat pause. We had it. We are breaking through. And then what we're going to be looking for are the inner areas for trading this. All right, so far let's draw another trend line in here like this. Let me keep this other one like it was. There it is. And what I want to see is that bottoming pattern, which seems like we already have it, higher low. And the next thing that we need to see, it's a higher high. So where would that higher high would be? Well, we have some lows in here, some highs in here. So I would say in between this box, let's go for our indicators and see if we have some things around there. Let me turn a couple of other things off. We have a trend line, automated trend line. We have a resistance and a much bigger resistance. So I believe that we could start seeing something like breakout retest, next support, target. Again, I don't want to give you too much hope on this kind of longs, especially on meme coins. But if SHIB is moving, I think we might still have just a little bit more of that force to break out, like do something like that. Something like this that ends up being or a breakout continuation and make a little bit of a higher high. All right. So just that point for now. Remember that this was a downtrend. Maybe we can have just a big pullback to the upside, pullback. And when I mention big, I'm mentioning big until here, right? So no big $1 Shiba at all. All right. And let's finalize with ENA. Let's take a look at ENA here. Let's bring it up. I do like ENA. Here it is. And I believe that we left out a trade open in here last time we were looking for a trade. All right, so this was where we left out. We were looking for a breakout. Well, that breakout, it did prolong a little bit more. And well, it was nothing like we were expecting. All right, so it was a very vanilla breakout. We are within a range now that we can see. All right, so bottom, top. And are we getting ready to break through? Maybe we do have a reversal. We are having a quantum reactor coming low. So I will be expecting maybe a little bit of fake out, a higher low, and then a push continuation just by structure. Let's take a look at the rest of the things in here. Do I have anything else? I do have a trend line, painted trend line in here, if you can see it. So that will add up to maybe a slightly higher low. Let's see if we have anything else. We do have, of course, the resistance, another big support right there. And let's see if we have anything else. Well, big resistance. So do expect that correction somewhere around here. If by any chance we have a breakout, expect this one. But I would rather go for the safest zone, which is going to be rejection here, your re-entry somewhere in between 0.26 and 0.23. So that's what I got so far on altcoins. Let me pass it over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And Axe221, it said exactly, I got my USDC waiting. Bro, I'm sitting on like 92% cash right now after selling at $126,000. So I'm if it goes down, I'm ready for it. I have been DCAing every single week on the Piper plan. So as Alexander G dropped in there, make sure you go in there. You have access because you're a member here on the YouTube. So you have full access over there. But Alexander G also asked a question. She asked, Piper, the FOMC for next week, is that priced in to Bitcoin price? Absolutely it is. If there's a headline for it, it's already priced in somewhere and it's 25 basis points. Now, what would cause a shock to that is two things. One, or three things actually. We'll go three things. One, it comes out that we don't get a 25 basis point rate cut, which is going totally against the odds right now. I do think it's like 90% right now that we get a 25 basis point rate cut next week. The second thing would be he gives a rate cut, but he comes out and says, we have none on the books for 2026. We're going to wait and see how the jobs data looks going into the new quarter. That would cause a hawkish stance, which would totally shake out the markets. And then the other one being if they look and see that there was a very split vote on if they should cut rates, keep them paused, or maybe even some people saying that they should have raised. So those would all affect the price action. But as of right now, yeah, FOMC next week, 25 basis points is cooked into the price, in my opinion. So OC, I appreciate you being back, bro. Are you back here for good now? Are you back here for the morning show for good? You're muted again, bro. We got to get you back in practice of your mute button.
Oh man, I'm just keep typing. I don't want the sound to leak in. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm gonna try to be in here for good for the morning show, and for the late show, I will need to pause it for one more week. In the meantime, I get everything sorted out because we have still a lot of administration work to do in the background. But yeah, absolutely, I'm gonna be back for the morning show.
Awesome. Sounds great. And we're looking forward to having you return next week with Trade Setups with OC Guy. Guys, thanks for joining us today. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back here 10 a.m., breaking everything down for you, letting you know what you need to know. Because there's a lot of data that I think people are missing, and we're going to make sure you guys get that knowledge every day because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management, and peace, love, and profits to all. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Later.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?